No, but they put it in, is it? Oh,
you put in, like, it's like any shop you go to,
oh, I see.
put the money in.
Really?
Oh, okay. What?
We're live.
Oh, right.
Live means...
Well, I'm just going to read, unless you want to chant anything else. Okay, that was just small. So we don't, in this world of very changeable and very unpredictable, we don't know if this will actually see the light of day as a book of Srila Maharaj's talks, but we hope it will, and it takes some time, but it's something I've been doing so far, and I might have read this here when I was here last time, but I don't think you were here anyway, so it's always good to do it again. So I haven't got the chapter title for this one, but the chapter might be called Going Deeper. And this first section is called Intensified Search, or it's the subtitle, Intensified Search. What happened that this devotee was actually Giri Maharaj from New York, but it's in 1983. So in those days, you can hear by the voice, he's very young, and Srila Guru Maharaj had been talking about. Yeah, Srila Guru Maharaj had been talking about that actually Chaitanya Saraswati Math is about relief work. So we're kind of going back here a little bit to the roots of things, from the early 80s, and when Srila Maharaj was present and Srila Govinda Maharaj was in his secretarial general assistant position, kind of in the background, kind of a person we knew he was there, but he wasn't so much in the front, except you'd see him time to time, and he spent a lot of time away or in Calcutta and things like that. So Guru Maharaj was saying that his idea is to help people, relief work he called it, and especially if they've practitioners have become in some way disheartened or disillusioned or feel they've been hurt or abused in some way and they're suffering that way, to help them and give relief work, and also supply some ontological development also. So the devotee asked Giri Maharaj, the question he actually asked was, in this case, we try to sometimes do relief work and they see it as opposition and competition and they have a negative reaction, so what should we do? That was his question, but because of the answer that Guru Maharaj gives is so comprehensive and nice that I've rewritten the question myself. It goes like this: it seems that sometimes both in our preaching and in our devotional service life in general, though we might be trying our best with humility, tolerance and offering respect as much as we can, there is still so much opposition from persons or from the environment. How can we overcome this? And Srila Guru Maharaj answers, that opposition will help us to more intensively search for a higher plane. The absolute decision about what comes to us, that comes from the upper level, and it will help us to search for the higher plane more intensely. We will have to examine ourselves whether the path I have taken, is it only imagination or is any reality there? Krishna is everything and he protects his devotees. Such statement, is it all imagination to me? Is it only theoretical or is it real? We must make experiments with this truth in our own life and we will make progress step by step. So it's a very nice way he's approaching the answer, because you could have that could have been answered in so many different ways. Opposition, apparent opposition from people or the environment. You could answer it by saying, do this, do that, so many things. But to see it as a lesson and a learning curve for us. Such tests will be extended to us by Krishna himself. Do you have faith in me as absolute, or in any other potency, that they are your master? Is your faith only lip deep? When you say that Krishna is everything, he is over all, is it a lip deep statement, or does it really come from your heart and conscience? To say nothing can be done without his consent, nothing may happen without his will, is this all imaginary propaganda, or is it real? Is it a reality to live in and live on, or only something to preach? Real life within. And to be always eager for the fight, that is not a very high stage. I put there to be always eager, because he said to be eager for the fight, but sometimes can't avoid it. So, to be always eager for the fight, that is not a very high stage. What does he mean? But to ignore the fight, my environment, that which surrounds me, let it go on in its own way, and I shall be busy with my own things, my own duties. The opposing elements, they will come as a consequence of my previous life's actions. Let them come, but to my back, not in my front. End of quote. That's what someone will think. We shall show our back to them, and many wounds may come there, but in the front there will be peace and Krishna, and we will progress toward that side, towards him. We will think, the results of my previous activity, they have come to get their satisfaction, and they may attack me, but that will be from behind, and ignoring them, I shall make progress forward towards my Lord. So, Krishna is everything, but that must be realized as truth within me. Otherwise, what value has it got? It is only lip-deep propaganda. There must be life within us to back the preaching. The words that come from our mouth must be backed by spiritual realization that Krishna is all. And then he gives rather an intense example of about this question about lip deep and heart deep, and developing our vision. That's why I call it going deeper, but that's not final. But it might be in there somewhere. So I call this a Manipur incident. There is a history which occurred over 100 years ago in Manipur. At that time, all the residents of Manipur state, including the king, were Vaishnavites, disciples descending from Narottam Thakur. One Indian army general, his name was General Tikindrajit, wanted to overthrow the influence of the British in Manipur, and he was using as his military depot the compound of the Radha Govinda temple there. The British received some intelligence about this, and a military officer was sent to investigate. But the Raj, the king of Manipur, did not allow that man, a European and a Malech, brackets, cow-eater, non-Hindu, to enter into the temple compound. However, he forcibly entered, and General Tikindrajit had him murdered, killed at once. Then a British force was sent to capture the depot, with special instructions that the temple compound, which had been used for political and military purposes, must be demolished. And the force of the bombardment by cannon shot was so heavy that the whole temple was destroyed, and the deities also were demolished. Unlimited Krishna. Our Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, related this story to us and explained the meaning. Because in such an incident, it may appear, as the people said, "What is this? The deities who were worshipped by the disciples of Narottam Thakur did not have the power to protect themselves. Krishna had no power to protect himself? The deities are all idols, dolls. What is this? But Prabhupada explained it in another way. He asked, without the will of Krishna, nothing can happen. So, was it the will of Krishna that his worshipable figure should be destroyed by the shot of a cannon? If nothing can occur, even a straw cannot move without the will of Krishna, then if such a great disaster was done, was that also by his will? Yes, then why? He explained with this shloka from Padma Purana. It's in Prapanda Jivanamatam. Arche Vishnu Shiladir, Guru Shunar Martir, Vaishnave Jati Budhir, Vishnu Va Vaishnavanam, Kalimala Matane, Padate Tem Bumbudi, Sri Vishnu Namni Mantre, Sakara Kalusahe, Shabda Samanya Budhir, Vishnu Sarve Vareshe, Tad Itara Samadir Yashava Naraki Saha. Quote, I put the whole verse in quoting whole because he's referring back to it so you can see what it is. Whoever considers the deity of the Supreme Lord to be dead matter made out of wood, stone or metal, or the spiritual master who is an eternal servant of the Supreme Lord to be an ordinary man who is prone to die, or the Vaishnava to be coming from some caste, as Vaishnave Jati Budhir. Jati means caste. Jati. Song by, I think it's, you might know, he's Rupa Goswami, and he's saying, no, Sanatana Goswami. He's saying, I'm Durjati. I'm from a very low family with bad background and caste, like this. But to see a Vaishnava coming from some caste and judging them thereby. So, or the water that washes the feet of the pure devotee, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to be ordinary water, although such water has all the potency to destroy all the evils of the age of Kali, or considers the holy name of the Supreme Lord or mantras dedicated to him, which are able to destroy all sin, to be ordinary sounds, or thinks the Supreme Lord of all, Lord Vishnu, to be on the same level as demigods, has a hellish mentality. Whoever thinks in this way is certainly a resident of hell. And it's quite intense what he's going to say, so I put in there, now please listen attentively to what I shall explain. Because he said that on other occasions. We generally identify as spiritual truth that which comes down in this world to help us in a particular form, such as the deity. But that is not the same as the wholesale spiritual reality. So, to do away with our wrong conception that what we see, the deity, that it is Krishna, to demolish that wrong idea, this was done, the destruction of the deity, by Krishna's own will. Is it clear? The devotee says, yes, Maharaj, but he has to explain a bit more. Okay, the Lord as Sri Vigraha. In the deity, the Lord and the connection of the conscious spiritual plane have come to this mundane plane of our sense experience. So the deity should not be neglected or reckoned as an idol. Outwardly, if we exercise our physical senses, the Srimurti may be of stone or wood or any mineral substance, but we are not to look at that. We shall try to see that the Lord is attracted here by the affection and love of the sadhus. Because ultimately, when the deities are normally installed, they put the Tulsi Patra on the foot of the deity, and then it's considered the Lord is present, As with the purifying capacity in Ganges water, so the purifying presence of the Sri Vigraha is independent of our physical senses and physical calculative mind. It transcends all the stages of knowledge which can be collected from sense experience. I lifted this section from Upadeshamrita because it was just right to be here. It's not in this talk, but it's been sort of seamlessly included. So it transcends all the stages of knowledge which can be collected from sense experience. At the same time, however, the deity conception, the presence of the Lord in this form, is considered to be the lowest. The deity is a presence of the Lord, but in a gross way. In Upadesha, he put gross, but I put in inverted commas, to mean, gross. Huh? Well, gross, as in gross and subtle. Not like we say in English, oh, that's gross, I mean like really bad. No, I don't mean like that. I mean like gradations of subtlety, So in the different manifestations of the Lord, the name, right, the devotee, the scripture, the tirtha, the deity is a more gross form, quote unquote. And when we can trace the existence of the Lord in the heart of the devotees, our position becomes higher. We move to a nearer realization of Godhead. Vaishnav Shastra Vigraha Tirth. In the Vaishnava, the truth is animated more than in the Vigraha, the deity, the Tirth, holy place of pilgrimage, or the Shastra, scripture. We find a direct connection with Krishna in the consciousness of a Vaishnava. Faith in the devotees, the Vaishnavas, grants us the most substantial help. The devotees are above even the Shastra, the scriptures. There are some who want to know about Krishna only from the Shastra, scripture. In the almanac it is written that this year so much rain is expected, so much rain will come. But if we press the almanac, will a drop of water ooze out of it? Press, physically press. The Shastra is like that, something like that. It says, do this, do that, but the Shastra cannot give us Krishna. First we get the direction, then we practice. We are to do it. But still, we are mainly helpless when searching with this method or that method. Practically, we should come in connection with the service of a Vaishnava, because I am to serve, but I can't come directly in connection with him, the Lord, so who can I serve? The deity form of the Lord, the Vigraha, is there. The Shastra is there, but in a sense these are superficial. The real substance we find in a Vaishnava, in his heart. Dharmasya tattam nitam guhayam. This verse from Mahabharata? When it was part of the discussion between Maharaj Yudhishthira and the bird, the lake bird. When there's brothers, they took the water from the lake, and they were warned, if you drink this, you'll fall down dead. So they all fell down on the bank of the lake. They weren't actually dead; they were like unconscious. Because Draupadi, she was too tired. She sat down under a tree and said, "Can you get me some water?" So Nakul, he shinned up a tree and he saw a lake in the distance. So one by one they went there. And they didn't even get the water back to her. She was wondering where they'd gone. So first Arjun went and he fell down. And then one by one like that, Bhima, Nakul, Sahadev, and then Yudhishthira was the eldest brother. He was staying with Draupadi. Then Draupadi said, "What's happened? Go and find them." So finally he went and he saw them lying there, and the bird said, "No, they're dead, but I want to ask 100 questions, and if you can answer them properly, then they will live again." He said, "Okay, far away." So there are these questions, which, of course, one of them, the famous one, what's the most astonishing fact of life, of existence? And he said that everyone is dying, and we see that, we experience that, both in our own close, in our own family members, and then others and others, but still we're thinking, "No, that's not for me, I won't die, that's for others." He said, yes, you've answered correctly. Another one was, who's a happy man? He said, "Who has no debts," because debts bring you back to the material world, the weight of that ballast, And what is the news? The news that was, he said, the material world is like a big cooking pot, and the sun is the fire underneath cooking it, and the jivas are inside the pot being stirred by Yamaraj, and the masala, see it? The days and nights is the spices going in, and this. So, but this one, then finally, Dharmasya tattang nitam guhayam, and then Mahajana jena gata swapanta. So Dharmasya tattvam, the truth of Dharma actually, what is what we should do. Okay, we know part and parcel of Krishna, we're supposed to be serving Krishna. Okay, that's fine, that's general. That's like Sanatan Dharma. But specifically, in any particular situation, mainly we don't really know that, so you need guidance. So Dharmasya tattvam nitam guhayam. Guha means hidden, like in the heart of the devotee. So that's, remember in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Raja Vijaya Raja Guya, the most secret of all secrets, the king of secrets. So secret thing, it's hidden in the heart of the devotee. The Krishna conception, Krishna as he is, knowledge and love, we find living in the heart of a Vaishnava who directs all his activities towards him, towards his service. He's got to do the offering now, something.
Have you compiled this?
Yeah, it's going on, yeah. It'll be released on an unsuspecting world at some time in the future.
This is going to be a publication?
Well, I hope so, yeah. I'll just get it ready, and then Madhusudana Maharaj promised me he would get it published by his people over in Eastern Europe. No, by his, I don't know, whatever people he knows in Eastern Europe, yeah. And so I'll just finish this and then I have to go home. Misconception demolished. So the verse Arche Vishnu Shiladhir, as quoted by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, says that we are really pilgrims to hell by knowing things only superficially, by thinking that what we see as stone, the deity, is Krishna, that Krishna is limited there to such a form. To do away with such a conception, Krishna takes such a bold step, means allowing his deity to be broken, that I am not your sense-conceived, I-conceived stone piece, I am something else. It is to elevate you to a higher understanding. From the lowest position of understanding the nature of the deity, the presence of divinity as the deity, to demolish that conception in you and give you a higher type of understanding. It is something like the national flag. The flag represents the honor of the nation, but suppose in war the flag is captured by the enemy and trodden underfoot. Of course, when the flag is dishonored, it means the nation's honor is demolished. But still we have to think that the nation is there. It remains, though its honor, its freedom and its independence, which is represented by the flag, is destroyed. Even when the flag is torn to pieces or trampled underfoot, or burned to ashes, or otherwise destroyed, the nation's integrity and independence is there, and again that nation may come back and conquer their foe. In this way, though the flag represents the country and its freedom, it does not represent the whole of its freedom. The nation's freedom, its independent existence, is not contained or limited there. So the Vigraha, the deity form of the Lord, is necessary. It is a symbol given to you, and you are encouraged to see that it is the Lord. It is he himself and not otherwise. But still, you must try to go further in your conception that he himself, is not what you can conceive with your senses. He's not limited to that. You have to differentiate there. Progress always means elimination and new acceptance. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that we should always be free, unprejudiced, to accept truth. We should be expectant, by comparative study, to understand revealed truth in deeper ways.